We are live in 3, 2, 1.
You're Elizabeth Smart. You should know what to do.
Child safety activist Elizabeth Smart reveals she was sexually assaulted on a Delta flight.
We've never been in a situation like this in our history.
After 5 months of investigations, the United States Senate acquits President Trump of the 2 impeachment charges.
Senator Romney was standing with what he knew to be right.
Democrats praise Senator Mitt Romney for breaking with the GOP on convicting President Trump. Welcome to Newsline. It's Thursday, February 6th. I'm Emma Benson.
And I'm Sierra Phipps. High winds and snowfall along the Wasatch Front made the early commute a hassle this morning. Allie Arnold has the updates on the winter storm. Allie.
Snowfall hit northern Utah last night and will continue throughout the day, as you can see. Snow totals have piled up and will keep increasing till about Friday afternoon. Most cities have received somewhere between 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. Little Cottonwood Canyon getting a whopping 9 inches. Take a look at this video. This morning's snowfall caused hazardous conditions to commuters on Utah roads. The Utah Avalanche Center reported considerable danger ratings in Logan, Ogden, and Provo, and a high danger rating in Salt Lake City, especially in Little Cottonwood Canyon. Be sure to drive safely on the roads and be aware of their conditions. Back to you.
Thanks, Allie. Utah County Community Services prepared to meet high demand for people in need due to low temperatures. Community Action Services helps homeless individuals in Utah County. The organization says during this cold weather, the number of homeless people seeking shelter and food has increased. This is problematic because there are no emergency shelters in Utah County, only transition homes.
Days we get a lot more homeless people than there ever has been before. A lot more people with mental health issues.
To meet the high demand of these people, Community Action Services maintain a high number of volunteers, donators, and other private partners who provide food and basic services for the needy. They also collect clothes, blankets, gloves, and other winter accessories for people in need. The organization provides services for individuals, families, and small organizations.
The impeachment trial into President Donald Trump is over. The vote to remove the president from office failed yesterday.
Steve Nannis has more on what will happen next.
It is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
After a months-long investigation and a 3-week-long trial, the Senate has voted to acquit President Donald Trump in just the 3rd presidential impeachment trial in U.S. history. The Wednesday afternoon vote coming after a contentious, mostly partisan trial. Democratic House managers accusing the president of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, saying he withheld aid from Ukraine in exchange for an investigation into former Vice President Joe Biden and his son.
When the president tries to coerce an ally to help him cheat in our elections and then covers it up, we must say enough.
The president and his legal team maintaining he did nothing wrong and that there was no grounds for removal.
We've never been in a situation like this in our history. We have an impeachment that is purely partisan and political.
The Senate rejected a Democratic-led effort to call witnesses and subpoena documents last Friday, setting the stage for the conclusion of the trial.
Mr. Romney, guilty.
The only Republican to break ranks with his party on the final vote, Senator Mitt Romney. The president did not mention impeachment in Tuesday's State of the Union address, but throughout the entire impeachment process, he and his closest supporters have maintained that the trial should come to a swift end. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
Thanks, Steve.
The only Republican senator to vote to remove Donald Trump from office was Utah Senator Mitt Romney.
With my vote, I will tell my children and their children that I did my duty to the best of my ability, believing that my country expected it of me.
Senator Romney broke rank with the Republican Party and became the first senator in history to vote against a president of their own party in an impeachment trial. Romney says the choice was motivated in part by his belief in God, saying that he takes the oath he swore before God when took office very seriously. Members of Romney's own party were quick to criticize him.
For the most part, I think Republicans are very upset about it. And I, for one, disagree with it and disagree with it strongly.
Okay, so a lot of people who...
One of Romney's fellow critics, fellow Senator Mike Lee, publicly disagreed with Romney's decision. Lee says the president do anything, quote, remotely impeachable. Lee believes there weren't any valid reasons for impeaching the president and that the charges were flawed. Lee says a Republican investigation into Hunter Biden's business affairs with Ukraine is possible. The senator believes although the United States might be suffering from investigation fatigue, the probe into Biden would be legitimate.
Team Trump didn't hold back in their criticism of Mitt Romney either.
He wanted to be president. He's not. I'm shrugging my shoulders because it really doesn't matter. In other words, he wasn't the swing vote. They were 20 votes shy.
He's not brave. He's a coward.
You vote your conscience, but you got to use common sense.
And Trump himself slamming Romney in a late-night tweet mocking his failed presidential run. President Trump also tweeted a video calling Mitt Romney slick, slippery, and stealthy. Yet despite all of the blowback from inside the Republican Party, not everyone was upset with Mitt Romney's vote.
Senator Romney was not standing with Democrats. Senator Romney was standing with what he knew to be right.
House Representative Val Demings suggested that Romney did not take a stand with Democrats or even against the president, but stood up for what was right. Demings is not the only Democrat praising Mitt Romney for standing by his principles. Other Democrats have plenty to say following Romney's move to convict the president. The hashtag Mitt Romney American Hero is the #3 trending tag with more than 12,000 tweets.
Elizabeth Smart reveals that she was sexually assaulted on a Delta flight last year.
I mean, it's not Delta's fault. I mean, it was this man.
During an interview today on CBS This Morning, Smart said that she was on the Delta flight when a man inappropriately touched her. She says that she was sleeping when she woke up to the man touching her between her legs.
Can you show me what he was doing?
I mean, it was like this.
Yes, just back and forth, back and forth.
Smart says she was shocked and didn't know what to do. She has since reported it to the airline, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation is looking into the claim. Because of this situation, Smart has now started self-defense classes for women and girls called Smart Defense. She hopes that she can help other women avoid being assaulted by giving them physical training. It has been 18 years since Smart was kidnapped from her home in Salt Lake City.
The National Transportation Safety Board recently released the report regarding the plane crash that happened in January. The NTSB says multiple witnesses claim that they saw the plane's left wing drop before the crash. Investigators have verified that the plane also made a pop noise prior to the crash. Air traffic control gave the plane permission to land just before the plane lost control. The cause of the crash is still under investigation, but investigators believe it had to do with engine failure.
Governor Gary Herbert and the Utah legislature ratings have dropped. The Utah Political Trends Survey asked voters to rate Herbert and the legislature on their job performance. The survey recently saw an 8-point drop for Herbert and an 11-point drop for the legislature. They lost support from both the Republican and Democratic parties. Many believe that the decreasing in ratings is a result from the failed tax reform.
A man armed with a knife is shot and killed after trying to enter into the São Paulo Missionary Training Center. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says the incident happened on Wednesday morning. Security officers detained the intruder near the reception desk until police arrived. Church officials say police shot and killed the man when he attempted to attack the officers. Missionaries and staff are safe, and the church is working closely with local authorities to investigate further.
We got the news that we were being reassigned, and so much peace came over me.
Some of the missionaries leaving the China-Hong Kong mission will not undergo a quarantine at a government facility as previously believed. Instead, those 17 missionaries who are citizens of the Philippines will be isolated from other missionaries for 14 days at the Manila MTC before transferring to their new assignment or returning home. 113 missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will be transferring out of Hong Kong and Macau as a safety precaution from the coronavirus. The church will continue to monitor developments with the coronavirus.
A bill in the Utah legislature headed to be voted on.
How this bill in the 2020 legislative session could affect your money and your health.
You need 150 minutes of exercise per week. So that's 30 minutes 5 days a week.
February is American Heart Awareness Month. We can hardly wait to tell you what you need to know to keep a healthy heart.
Take a look at this wild car chase. We'll tell you where this dramatic event happened when we come back.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
A House bill that would make insulin more affordable is now headed to a standing committee to be voted on in the Utah legislature. House Bill 207 creates incentives for health benefit plans and the Public Employees Benefit and Insurance Program to reduce required co-payments for insulin. It also directs the Public Employees Benefit and Insurance Program to purchase insulin at discounted prices, allowing public employees to access the discounted insulin.
Who just can make their own insulin, they get it for free. And it should be something that is accessible if the normal human body makes it.
This bill would increase the number of days an insulin prescription can be refilled and the length the prescription can last. It also would increase the number of professions that can be licensed to prescribe insulin in hopes to make insulin more accessible and affordable.
February is National Heart Month, but not for the reason you might think. 1 in every 4 deaths in the U.S. occur because of heart disease. According to a new Cleveland Clinic study, 80% of millennials could not identify heart disease as the leading killer for women. The survey also shows that many Americans don't know the steps to take in preventing heart disease.
You need 150 minutes of exercise per week. So that's 30 minutes, 5 days a week.
According to the survey, 80% of Americans don't know the proper time to start getting their cholesterol tested is in their 20s. 58% of people believe that taking an aspirin a day is a good way to prevent heart disease, but doctors say instead of taking an aspirin, if your chest hurts, go exercise and eat your fruits and vegetables.
It's a winter wonderland throughout the country.
Building a snowman, kind of, but we're more eating snow and doing snow angels.
We'll tell you which cities are being most affected and what precautions people are taking.
Police pursue a car on the Super Bowl parade route as Chiefs fans watch from the sideline. See more of this exciting car chase and how fans are reacting.
Winter storms are hitting northern Utah. Find out more in my weather report.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision. Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Excitement is underway as the Shops at Riverwoods welcomes the annual Fire and Ice Festival on Friday. The Riverwoods is preparing for an event that warms people's hearts amidst the cold weather. The event will include fireworks, ice sculptures, and roasting marshmallows for s'mores. The staff is pairing up with the Food and Care Coalition to supply food to those in need.
Yeah, so 8 years ago, we made a charge for our Shops at Riverwoods events to always be attached to a charity. We chose the Food and Care Coalition because it seems like in the wintertime, that's when people are more in need of finding and getting food.
The Riverwoods hopes to surpass the 1,000-pound donation they received last year to give back to the community.
Winter watches, warning advisories, and severe weather. That's what tens of millions of people can expect over the next few days. John Lawrence reports.
Toppled trees and damaged homes. That's among the wreckage after strong gusts of wind, hail, and rain tore through parts of Mississippi Wednesday. Heavy snow, meanwhile, falling in Texas and Oklahoma. While the precipitation caused havoc and headaches on the roadways, some were able to enjoy the snow.
We're building a snowman, kind of, but we're more eating snow and doing snow angels.
It's really, really pretty watching it come down around the old buildings and just old hometown-y feeling.
Buckets of snow also falling in parts of Indiana.
I was out earlier and it is precarious driving. Fortunately, I have the four-wheel system on my car, and that's a big help.
A storm system is organizing in the deep south, and it's going to produce a number of weather hazards over the next few days. In the southeast and mid-Atlantic, a flood watch for 25 million people. Some areas could see more than half a foot in rain. As for the northeast, road crews are getting ready as more than a foot of snow is expected to fall.
Stay off the roads as much as possible until we can get material on the road, get the ice melted. Because no matter, even if you have four-wheel drive, it's still not going to help if you're on a sheet of ice.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Take a look at some of the weather cams around Utah. The first one we see here is around the Salt Lake area with gray skies and snowfall. You can expect that in northern Utah throughout the day. But in southern Utah, down in Springdale, you got blue skies and sunshine. Here on the weather radar, we see that we have this snowfall covering the northern Utah area, and that will increase and stay throughout the day. So make sure that you're bundled up and ready for that. We also have some severe weather warnings. So this gray area is a severe winter weather warning, and the yellow is high winds. Going on to our highs and lows of today. In northern Utah, Logan, we have a high of 35. Salt Lake and Provo, 40 and 38. And southern Utah, St. George, a high of 56. For our lows of the day, Logan, 32. Price and Vernal, our lowest in the teens with 19 and 15. Salt Lake and Provo at 35 and 32. And St. George down at 32. For our 5-day forecast for the day, in southern Utah, we're going to see sun on Friday and Saturday with highs in the high 50s and low 60s, and then you're going to get chances of snow and low chances of snow, high chances of rain on Sunday and Monday, and with highs in the 50s, and then it's going to clear up on Tuesday. For our 5-day forecast in northern Utah, expect some more snow throughout the weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with highs in the mid 40s and then down to the high 30s, and then it's going to cool but still stay sunny on Monday and Tuesday. So expect these weather reports coming up for this next 5 days. And be sure to stay bundled as we still have some more snow to expect, but hopefully by Monday and Tuesday it will clear out.
Hopefully. You know, I actually think it's really beautiful. It's a really big snowflake, so I'm kind of enjoying the snow for right now.
It is a pretty winter wonderland, but it's still freezing, so I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the cold whatsoever.
That's very true. A car chase breaks out at the Super Bowl celebration parade in Kansas City.
Alessandra Harris is here now. Alessandra, what happened?
A driver followed by police crossed the barriers of the Super Bowl parade yesterday in Missouri. The closed roads from the celebration provided an excellent route for this driver to attempt to escape the police. The chase reached 60 miles per hour at times, and preliminary toxicology reports showed that the driver tested positive for amphetamines and cocaine. The car could have potentially injured hundreds of fans, but thanks to quick action from the Missouri police, no one was hurt. There's been lots of pedestrian footage from the chase online, and Twitter fans have been loving this startling high-speed pursuit. Twitter user Big Cat posted, "How does every parade not start with a ceremonial car chase? This was awesome." Sports on Tap said, "An insane way to start the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Luckily, no one was hurt, but this was wild to see." User Rick Camp also posted how they were so excited to get a Super Bowl win and a car chase, which means that things are just keep getting better in the KC. Jay and Dan from SportsCenter created a hilarious parody of the famous video that's going around, where they had announcer Kevin Harlan report as if it was a football game. Take a look.
Hey, somebody has run out on the field. He's running down the middle by the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Somebody stop that man.
Here comes the blue coat,
Oh,
Kevin.
they got him.
Here
They're
comes the
coming
blue
from the
coats.
left. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
The man responsible for all the action is in custody now, and we hope high-speed car chases won't become a new Super Bowl parade tradition.
And speaking of the Chiefs, former NFL tight end Chad Lewis and current BYU Associate Athletic Director has a few words about his old coach. We'll tell you what he had to say about Andy Reid next. And Real Salt Lake has released their new 2020 home jersey. We'll show you them next.
When you think of Miami, you think of, rich, glamour, but 5 miles away from the beach, there's people who've never seen the beach. I was confused why somebody was in this situation, especially in America. So when I started Joshua's Heart Foundation, it was a key thing to be able to engage youth in the foundation, to help them participate. I think passing on the torch and lighting a new flame in another person to do good is probably one of the bigger missions that I have. So we are each making a bigger difference. That's it, just giving back and producing love for everybody.
BYU basketball is on the road this evening to face Portland.
Three-pointer, TJ Hart.
The Cougs will look to extend their win streak to 3 as they are currently third in the West Coast Conference. Meanwhile, Portland sits at last place following their 7-game lose streak. The game tips off at 7 p.m. Pacific time in the Chili's Center. The undefeated number 2 men's volleyball will face the 7th-ranked UCLA Bruins this evening at home. BYU is off to its best start since 2008 and has been playing one of the toughest schedules in the country. The match starts at 7 p.m. in the Smith Fieldhouse. Yesterday was National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, and BYU Athletics plans to celebrate it at the gymnastics meets tomorrow. Athletes from BYU women's sports programs will sign autographs, and there will be cookies, face painting, a balloon artist, photo booth, and prize wheel. BYU faces Sacramento State at the Smith Fieldhouse tomorrow at 7 p.m. BYU has announced its 2020 football recruiting class following yesterday's signing day. The Cougars announced 14 prospects as well as the 13 who previously signed. The total 2020 class comes from 8 different states, and several of the recruits plan to serve church missions prior to enrolling. Former NFL tight end Chad Lewis and current BYU Associate Athletic Director is happy his old coach and former Cougar Andy Reid is now a Super Bowl champion. Reid, who coached Lewis in Philadelphia, won his first Super Bowl this past Sunday with the Kansas City Chiefs. Reid's leadership continues to impact his former players, and Lewis is no exception. Lewis says if anybody deserves to have their name cemented in history, it's Reid.
The guys put in more time, more energy, more love, more passion, more hours, more sleepless nights, more everything than anyone I know.
Reid coached an NFL record 21 seasons before winning his first Super Bowl. Like Lewis, Reid played for legendary BYU coach Lavelle Edwards and looks to continue his legacy. Lewis says this kind of recognition is good for BYU in their recruiting, and he expects more Cougars to participate in future Super Bowls. Real Salt Lake has released their new 2020 home jerseys. Their jersey, which is advertised to be as unique as Utah, features a throwback collar with retro feel and 3 Adidas stripes on the right shoulder. RSL kicks off its season on Saturday, February 29 against Orlando City SC. The Jazz continue to struggle after they lost their 5th straight game against the Denver Nuggets last night.
Heaves it for 3. Short. That's it. And Denver extends Utah's losing streak to 5.
The Nuggets were on a back-to-back with just 7 players available and still managed to pull off the win. The Jazz lost 98-95 and are now 5th in the conference. That's all for sports. We'll be right back.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Give your town a reason to celebrate, because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill, bring good home.
Netflix is releasing more than 40 films in February, including Netflix originals and many Valentine's specials. Some of those titles include a new season of a Netflix original, Narcos Mexico, and Purple Rain, a semi-autobiographical film of superstar Prince. If you're planning for a night in on Valentine's Day, long-awaited romantic movies such as Dear John, The Notebook, and Love is Blind have already been released to the streaming service.
I already love Netflix and chill, and then right now I know what we'll be doing for Valentine's Day this year.
Many, like Vivian, rather have the company of a romantic film instead. The new releases will premiere on different days throughout the month. You can find a full list of what's coming to Netflix this month by visiting whatsonnetflix.com.
Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information on our stories, you can check out our website at universe.byu/newsline.
Thanks.